So we're going to do a little bit of an interesting thing here. Yes, this is technically a Montreal Canadiens trade update, but it's a little bit of a different kind of trade update. You see, we do have the regular old, okay, this is what the Canadiens are trying to do update, but we also have another update about a trade that had already gone down. This is interesting, and the Montreal Canadiens do play in about an hour from now, so things are going to be kind of tight against the schedule. This show, though, is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there and check out the first link in the description to get some free months on your VPN, to save some money, and to help out the channel all in the process. Montreal talk is weird, because I feel like for the past few days, a lot of engagement for Montreal Canadiens-related topics has been down. And that's not just because, oh, the videos that we're making here are getting fewer views than they had before. I acknowledge that the topics that we're talking about aren't necessarily as hot as some of the other topics we had been bringing up earlier, but that's just it. Earlier in the season, the topics were hotter because in the past few days here, the Montreal Canadiens have been so bad. And it's almost like that Toronto game ruined this team and all the momentum they've been able to accrue. We've seen the Habs go through slumps in the past, especially in this Martin St. Louis era, but man, has this been a bad slump. And now they're playing off against the Anaheim Ducks. We'll see what happens. I need my guys to pop off. Please, Patty Laine. Please, Alexandre Carrier, do something. Fantasy hockey's been really tight this week too, and it's because a lot of these guys have started to suck and not really do too much. I'm sorry, Patty Laine, but we need more out of you. But anyways, the Montreal Canadiens have been in a pretty tough spot the past few days here, and it's resulted in less engagement and less inspiring topics. Sure, you know, everybody can talk about how heartwarming it is the Canadiens did the handshake to Marc-Andre Fleury, but that's not fun to see after the team loses 4-0. I mean, when it comes to the progression of this Montreal Canadiens team, I feel like the past few weeks have been a step backwards ever since that Toronto game. So, obviously, we are hoping for things to change with this organization, for things to get better, and ultimately for the conversations to start picking up, because it was just a few weeks ago that Habs fans were talking about this team as a potential playoff contributor, as a potential wild card returnee. It's just unfortunate that that is absolutely not what anybody has been talking about, let's say, the past few days here. So Montreal hockey has been taking a bit of a step back in terms of its on-ice quality, but we will still hope that there are more positive things to come out of here. And heading into today's game against Anaheim, that certainly is something on our radar. So let's get into our trade update here. I got two things I wanted to talk about. Firstly, it was a tweet made by the Fourth Period's Twitter account, because what they did was they posted a video clip on January 31st as to what Montreal is looking for on the trade market. I'll leave a link in the description to this David Pagnotta video on this edition of the latest presented by CCM Hockey. We dive into last night's Flames and Flyers trade. Kate Pedersen and I then tackle Brandt Clarke and what the Kings are trying to add, and what the Montreal Canadiens are cooking. The video is linked in the description, but within it, David Pagnotta says that Montreal is looking to add yet another player like they had done in the past in a younger age range. According to the insider from the Fourth Period, the Montreal Canadiens are looking to acquire another young solid forward like they did with the Laine, Dach, and Newhook trades. He, Kent Hughes, wants to add this type of player in terms of age and potential to his roster, and he is looking to make this kind of addition. This article that we're looking at is also going to be linked in the description too. It's from HabsFanatics.com. You know them, you love them. They transcribe a lot of the video interviews that we end up looking at here on this channel, so shout out to them. But David Pagnotta does acknowledge the Montreal Canadiens' trade plans are not really all too different compared to what we had seen in the past. Alex Newhook, Patrik Laine, these guys are in that age range that the Montreal Canadiens have been targeting the past little while here. And while I do respect the commitment to the bit here from Kent Hughes, I will also acknowledge that even though these guys are young, even though these guys do have potential, I don't want to doubt the long-term projectability of a Laine or a Dach or a Newhook. The fact is, the Laines, the Dachs, and the Newhooks have been some of the more do I want to say inconsistent guys on the team this season especially? Like, obviously, you know, we don't want to get too harsh on guys that are developing and that are getting better, but like, can you really say that Patrik Laine has been getting better the past few games? I don't know. The guy has been really stagnant. Kirby Dach has been in a really difficult situation too with his development. It's been so fickle. And Alex Newhook even more so. He's a Stanley Cup champion, sure, but we are not seeing a lot out of Alex Newhook in this season's worth of play. So while it is fair for Kent Hughes to go out there and target this specific kind of a player, I do kind of wonder if it's the right move. Like, oh, am I just being impatient by acknowledging or bringing up how disappointed I've been with some of these guys as of late? Is that a bad thing? Is that like, okay, you're expecting too much out of these trade targets, Lego, or like, what? I get it, you know, you're not going to get perfect play out of guys acquired in the 23 to 25-year-old age range, but like, something's got to give here. There is certain kinds of play that you would expect out of these players in this range. I'm just not sure if the Canadiens are getting much of that. And ultimately, I will say that the Canadiens are in such a bad slump right now too, that it's difficult to really fault anybody at this point. But I do wonder if my concern here is valid. If any other Canadiens fan is feeling the heat as well with these younger guys that the Montreal Canadiens have been acquiring, is this the right move at this time? I'm not really too sure, so you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this entire conversation? This isn't the only trade update that I wanted to dive into, though. Oh yeah, the Montreal Canadiens are looking for young guys. That's like an update. But I also wanted to dive into yet another update about a completed trade that Kent Hughes and co. had already done. Take a look at this tweet made by Anthony Marcotte from... when was this? Yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. The acquisition of Noel Hoefenmayer for the Montreal Canadiens has a very similar impact to that Alexandre Carrier trade at the top level. Hoefenmayer has become a very important piece of the Rockets' top four defense, but in an attack-oriented role. Quite the acquisition for the Montreal Canadiens and Kent Hughes. And if you didn't see it, we did make a video about the Noel Hoefenmayer trade, which definitely did, you know, get a lot of people asking, okay, what the hell's this about? Like, who's this dude? But the Montreal Canadiens ended up getting themselves a very solid depth defenseman at the AHL level in a trade for Jakob Perreault, who is doing pretty alright himself in the Edmonton Oilers farm system, but Hoefenmayer himself has certainly brought some positive play to the Laval Rocket. He's got 8 points in 13 games, so roughly the same point production as he had with the Bakersfield system in Edmonton. Hoefenmayer, as a solid top four guy, has been given very good minutes. The Rocket have been winning a lot of games. I mean, ever since Hoefenmayer made his debut with the team, they've only lost once, which is pretty good, actually. I mean, look at that, eh? 1 loss in 13 games played ever since Hoefenmayer's debut with the squad, and he's playing a lot of minutes, getting a lot of points. That certainly is something we can say positive things about. Hoefenmayer also suited up for the Spengler Cup this year, getting 2 points in 3 games played, which is really interesting. That might be why he ended up losing a whole bunch of games. Oh, actually, the Spengler Cup stint was in between his Laval Rocket games. He had 3 extra games in this Laval Rocket stint that were all wins before the Spengler Cup. Really interesting results here out of Noel Hoefenmayer, and a good solid trade acquisition for Kent Hughes and the Canadiens organization. I get it, you know, it's a Laval Rocket type of deal, but Hoefenmayer is 26 years old, so it's not like this guy is totally irrelevant to the Montreal Canadiens' bigger picture. Anyways, I did want to sprinkle in some positivity in this video because it has been a little bit negative for the first good chunk of it. Oh, the Canadiens are playing poorly. Oh, the Habs games have been really bad lately. Oh, they were ruined by the Leafs. Oh, is it really profitable to trade for these younger dudes because Laine, Dach, and Newhook haven't been great lately? Let's get some positivity in there. Noel Hoefenmayer is good. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Montreal Canadiens and what you're expecting in this game against the Anaheim Ducks later today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.